All right, guys. Hey, thanks for staying. Wow, that was fun. So, first question, I think it's an obvious one. What the fuck? Like, where did this come from?
That was always.
I was really thinking, like, okay, and this is your first feature, both of you. I know you've done a lot of shorts and you've been making films for a long time, but this is the first feature. And it always says something about you, that first feature. But they usually have, like, they fit in some genre or phylum or influence. I really don't see any. I don't know where to put it, which is a big compliment to say there's nothing else like it, especially in the indie film world of today. So I'm sincere in my ask. Where did it come from? Like,
I mean, first and foremost.
Did you take a class in college on Greek comedy? What?
No,
What
not
was
at
the
all.
inspiration? Like, I know, let's make.
Well, the idiocy of our 15-year-old selves, I think, was the primary drawing point.
We had another film that was a bigger budget that we were trying to do that we had shown to you, and then that wasn't happening, so we were trying to come up with something that we could do for a micro budget. And Jake had a passion for Greek drama when he first moved here. He was reading all these Greek dramas, and I was working on a reality show. And I would come back, and Jake was just like on his 7th Sophocles play, like he had no job. That's what he did.
I had no job. I mean, I came out here like, we're gonna make it in the film industry, and it was just months of sitting around doing nothing.
Well, I admire that, reading Greek tragedies instead of staring at your phone on
Well,
TikTok
then it
or
was
something. That's
like,
good.
well, these are copyright free. They're 2,000 years old. We could do one of these, and it's all one location. And that was at least the initial seed.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of me sitting on the porch reading, smoking joints, being like, I wish people could see what I see when I'm reading these plays.
But what was it about
These are
the
those
Wasps?
people.
Because Aristophanes, this is kind of mid-level, right? This isn't his most popular top tier.
It's the characters, ultimately, I think, and, it connected with both of us. I mean, the intergenerational dynamics. I mean,
it's
they're
definitely
really
father son.
they
stuff.
pop off the page when you read it, and that was a big draw.
Yeah, I mean, the lead character was really charming. And this one is more human than some of the other ones are more like satire, like more like going after one political target, and there's not as much character and narrative built around it. This one was like, oh, feels really modern. We were just reading going, wow, these
Was
the
it
characters
the
are good.
politics of it, the kind of the.
That kind of was convenient in a way. Not necessarily. I mean, that was there. It definitely lended itself to being a bit more timely than the other plays that come after, the Socrates and all that. But so that was there. But yeah, ultimately, I think like I said, it's the characters. It was really Procleon and Anticleon and their squabbles and chasing each other in circles.
There's
That just
also
felt real.
how esoteric it is somehow appealed to us. That just seemed
Yeah.
like the more obscure the reference, the more we were laughing. So we just that entertained us. I don't know.
There's a perversity to that.
Maybe that's if you want to take away from the first film, what do you say? Just isn't anyone gonna get this? No, that's good. Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Oh man, so run us through production, like so casting. It's a wonderful cast. I mean, they all seem so perfect. Where did you find them? I mean, the faces, the looks, and
There was a mixture of places. I mean, we got really lucky because originally we conceived it. We're like, we'll do it for $5,000, and Jake and his godfather was going to be the two guys. One of the guys who plays the old men, and we were going to have Jake act in it. And we were like, that's going to be our pair. And then it just kept getting bigger, and we kept meeting actors. And there was Anticleon, Luke, the son, is from through the Zach Theater, a casting call through the Zach Theater. He's a British guy who was living in Austin, and
So perfect.
we were like, ooh, he's got something. He's cool.
so good.
And a lot of
Like
different.
young Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, he's great.
He would love that.
Yeah. A lot of different eclectic routes we took, reaching out to chorus groups. That's how we got Gary right here in the front row.
Woo!
We got Superstar.
Yeah, those three guys, that chorus.
We went to an ecstatic dance class and scouted a few fellows there.
Oh yeah, Ross, the chorus leader, came straight from the ecstatic dance class. No acting experience.
Really?
Yeah.
Just and everybody was with it. Were you the dramaturge on set? It's almost like the language. Were actors asking like,
What am I even saying?
Yeah, what am I saying?
Yeah, I mean, we had done a lot of research and been through it. Like adapting it, we would took lines from like 4 or 5 different translations. We went line by line and picked like the translation we liked the most and did a Frankenstein. So by the time we got through that whole process, we knew what everything meant and could explain it to people.
Right. So it's, they're trying to say this. It's really about, this dynamic between the two characters and having that be the jumping off point.
Wow. So any influences? Like I said, it's not, I couldn't really find a place for it, but like visually and the tone of it, where in film history do you draw the inspiration?
Pasolini for sure was a big one.
Yeah, I mean, we
cycle, Canterbury Tales,
yes,
Oedipus Rex,
the Decameron was
Decameron.
the one that we
Medea
thought
is
about.
another really great one, which is more tragedy, but just like how he's one of the few that would really stick to the play, really not modernize it at all. And
we tried to look at the play and not think about movies as much. So we would just be like, okay, this, just some of the weirdest stuff that people ask us about is in the play. So, yeah. So, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's in the play. Yeah. So it was like, we thought it'd be more unique if we looked at that. But then, Pasolini's the Decameron, that was kind of the one. And then once we started making, we started going, this is kind of like this is kind of like this. Talked about some early Woody Allen movies like Love and Death. We were like, this is kind of like an early Woody Allen movie a little bit. And then maybe Guy Madden. We were like, maybe some Guy Madden in there.
A little Shrek, a little SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks and sounds great. I mean, do you want to share with us your budget and schedule and some of those kind of indie details? Or
Sure, yeah. We crowdfunded $24,000 for the shoot, I believe, and it was really a labor of love for everyone involved.
Crowdfunded, and hence the long credits of all the names.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, but finding the style
we
was.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean,
I give a shout out a lot to our DP. Really elevated it a lot, Ben Root, because he had worked on commercials a lot, and so he understood professional lighting. So I felt like that elevated the look of it a lot. His ability to light, and then there was just all these collaborators where it kept
learn how to
getting better.
delegate.
Yeah, and black and white is a good collaborator too with your stock footage, with your archival stuff, and it just flows much.
That was the original conception of the film. It was because when we said, okay, we'll do a Greek play. Well, they're only like 60 pages, so we were like, that's only half a movie. That's not going to be enough. So we were like, well, let's do 2 plays. So we thought we'd do a comedy and a tragedy, and we would make them stylistically opposite. So that one would be black and white and 4:3 aspect ratio, and then one would be anamorphic widescreen, color, and on location.
But at a certain point, we realized it's a lot to ask for an audience to sit through a 2.5-hour, two-fister,
Would you have had an
micro
intermission?
budget? Right. So
No,
it
this
just
is
was
great. I
lost.
love the brevity. What was this, like 80 minutes or so?
80 minutes.
It's perfect. That's a perfect length. There should be more films
Totally.
that long.
I mean, we like he was saying, we love the early Woodies, we love
Yeah.
the Preston Sturges films, and
Yeah.
those just breezed right
Funny.
by, and that was important to us to kind of make sure it was nice and tight and light on its feet.
What was your schedule like?
It was 10 days,
10 days.
2 weeks, 5-day shoots. We took the weekend off, 5-night shoots.
No reshoots.
No reshoots.
The set was destroyed within a week of.
It was in our backyard, and our lease
And
was
literally, I always
2
say
weeks
there's
after.
often indie films, there's a kind of a category, backyard film. You're just shooting your friends and your thing, but you really did shoot in your backyard. That's
the cheapest way to
it's
go.
a genre, yeah.
Somehow that seemed like a good idea, but building the set was actually months of work in the backyard. And our producer, Andrew, came down, and it was like the 3 of us for a few months. Just like we went to these train tracks behind the Fiesta Mart, and we had a Sawzall, and we were like chopping down wild bamboo and like loading up truckfuls of bamboo.
A lot of bamboo in Austin.
Yeah, I used like lashings from Boy Scouts to tie bamboo together, and
And we would do Saturday set build days where we'd bring a cooler of beer, invite all of our friends, and say, well, come have as much beer as you want, and thatch as many, but bundle as many bundles of hay as you can.
But for its one setness, you really do kind of you see it from different angles. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't feel confined.
That's
and you're
great.
That's
tricky,
good.
like when they're walking and stuff. The effects, the smoke works so well with lighting.
Some of that was their DP vaping in front of the lens. True.
So first feature, you're different people by the end of it. What was your best and worst? Like what surprised you and what horrified you?
I feel like we probably have different answers.
Or do you
for
have
this.
Okay.
Best and worst? I mean, just the best and worst part of the process. The shoot is always, I think, the most fun. I mean, you're just spending months prepping, and then it's just like sledding downhill. Pure adrenaline for 2 weeks straight, and just everyone's there. The energy is there, and it's just exciting, and it's really gratifying. The editing process can be tough. I mean, was just us two sitting in a box for a year, basically, banging our heads together, getting into fights, working it out. I want this, and then you kind of just, over time and iterations, find the vision comes back together. You tear it apart and put it back together again, and I think that can be that for me at least, was the most draining. I don't know. What
I think I remember hearing Sam Raimi say the worst part was putting on the suits to go raise money. I mean, I get that only because it's the part where you're not making the movie, So it's like the editing and different things, they're really hard. It's super hard, but at least you're making the movie, And then when it's months of raising money, that's kind of draining on the soul a little bit.
No one gets into movie making, inspired, wanting to make movies. They don't really. That never enters your mind. And sometimes that's what you spend your time doing, things that. But if you can't stomach that, you gotta
it's
be
part
able
of the
to-
game. You gotta just do it.
Trick yourself into thinking you like or appreciate all of it. So, long post production, everything. Okay, on the set, what was the most challenging moment? I know she had a little fire there. Anything?
The fire wasn't too bad.
That looked under control.
We stole enough fire.
There was a lot of things that
Fire
could have
extinguisher
Does a
on
landlord
TLC.
ever come around and did neighbors when he shut you down?
Oh yeah.
I think an all-night shoot in a residential neighborhood,
Well,
that can be kind
our
of...
landlords lived in India, so we were like, oh, that's great. They're never gonna find
That helps.
But the next door neighbor was good friends with him.
They took a picture of us stapling bundles of hay to the roof and sent it to the landlord. I found out later there was like an email chain of neighbors getting angrier and angrier.
If you would have had another week or two, you might have got...
Well,
But,
we worked it out.
smooth talk
We
your
wrote a
way
letter
out
to the
of it.
landlords.
We
and,
offered to increase our renter's insurance, and that settled like quiet.
and then we went and talked to all the neighbors, and then they loved it. They brought their kids to visit and sent us cookies and stuff.
Personal, the personal.
That's the
touch.
Austin spirit.
Yeah. So that was no, but there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong that didn't. Fire and other things.
It was kind of amazing how little went wrong during the shoot.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I mean, some of the scenes is like, the whole party at the after party at night with the flute boy and all the people coming. That was all in one night. The whole, so it was just we were flying through huge chunks of material sometimes, and we would look at each other. I think it's good. I think we're good. Yeah.
What scene did you do the most takes of? That I was going to ask that. It's more than halfway through that centerpiece where there's an extraordinarily long take with the father and son, and they're even coming at the end and singing. That's so complex. How many takes?
I'm
of that
glad
did
you brought that. That was actually a pretty stressful timing situation.
That was a demand on the actors, but they pull it off.
So we went through the first take. They got halfway through, and then they flubbed the line, and we had to reset. And then after that, the sun was setting. It's all outside, so we're on the sun clock, and calibrating the Ronin took hours and hours. So we lost a lot of time.
Yeah.
We flubbed that first one, and we're like, okay, we've got it about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's 10 pages. So we did it was 2 takes.
Yeah.
And
You
then
just do the math. You go,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. And Parker was on crutches. He had a bum ankle. And we got the take, and his ankle was miraculously healed, and he threw his crutches aside and leaped up and
I think I ran a
screaming,
circle,
crying,
yeah.
running in circles. And
Everyone was cheering. You were just, it was epic.
The film gods were on your side. They were even healing you in the process. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, you feel blessed, though, don't you, when it all works? That's very cool. Well, I will open it up to questions while I keep talking.
The musical numbers. I'm curious how much of that came from the original source, and what was the process of creating that?
That's a good question. Well, so in a lot of different, the chorus would always end every scene with what you would presume to be a song. And obviously, there's no record of any music, but you have to assume. A lot of translations don't do it in verse. So the first translation we read had it kind of perfectly the way we wanted to, and that was really Tyler Lambeth, who's just an absolutely incredible composer, and we wanted it to be a musical. It was just everything but the kitchen sink. We're like, let's just try everything. Let's make it a musical. Let's do this. And we just told him the tone of it and said, go, let your inner artist speak.
And we picked a few instruments that were like,
Right.
you know, a lyre and a flute and percussion was kind of what they had. So we were like, work with that, and we'll see what we come up with. And then the verse is from the play.
And I mean, there was almost no revisions. I mean, he would knock out of the park every time. So most of the songs are the first pass that he sent us, and it was like, this is better than we could have ever imagined. Let's on to the next.
Nice.
Did the chickens and the goats behave?
Animals?
The
We have
chickens
animals
were our
around here?
neighbors' chickens, and there were a lot of people, including both our girlfriends and a few friends of ours, just that would spend like a couple hours catching the chickens in the neighbor's backyard to then bring them to set. I remember Jake's girlfriend came in, and she's like, "Are you ready for the chicken?" We're like, "We need 25 minutes," and she was like, "I can't hold this chicken for 20 minutes."
Yeah. But the goat, we had a goat wrangler for the day, and getting the goat to cooperate, I mean, there were definitely a few shots where like the goat didn't even make it.
There were
in.
2 goats, but only one made it in the shot. Yeah, one was like, I think, grazing, and he was
great
yeah.
on your overhead.
And the cat was just also a neighbor's cat. That once we started building the set, the cat just wouldn't leave the backyard. It's like, all right, well, you know, Frankie's a part of the movie.
Yeah, he wasn't in
now,
the
and-
script. Yeah.
Get some good cutaways there.
Any questions farther back? We usually do people in the front row. Okay. One of you guys.
Any projects in the pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, this has been such an effort for the obligatory first film extra year or plus.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to next? What are you trying to get made?
I'm working on I have a script about elite French clown schools.
And I've got a script about online gang stalkers. So it's kind of at a point where you have to tier it, right? It's like, what kind of money can I get together? It's so you have your $2 million script, then you have your 50, 100K script, and
You got to have that one in your pocket at all times. You know, that never ends, by the way. You know, you always have to have that ready. And this was in response to a more traditional, I won't call it traditional, what you were trying to do that you didn't get off. But that was like, what, over $1 million or $2 million you were trying to make?
Yeah, it was.
And then you found out who the hell's going to give over $1 million to 2 guys who
And it was
haven't made a feature.
called Bug Doctor and involved,
Do you,
I don't know,
do
men
you still
walking
hope
on
to
their
get that one
hands.
made someday?
Someday, yeah, I would love to. But again, that's like if we can get the $3 million. I mean, that's sort of. I mean, is also a father-son script, and I think that was sort of another thing we were looking at was we want to kind of stick to some similar ideas, similar relationships, and that's still pretty important to me. So yeah, obviously, I would love to pursue that one if the money can come together, if the momentum is there.
That's our problem.
Yeah.
We're always too ambitious. I mean, this was like way too ambitious too, you know. But that was fun. That was why it was fun. Do a period piece, micro budget period piece. I don't think I've seen that. I was like, that could be cool.
And then never again.
Yeah, well, I think that's the triumph of it. It's kind of audacious in that way. You know, most filmmakers look around at their practical situation and just work with the reality. You know, that kind of create something.
I guess we wanted to push against that, like just the typical micro budget movie. We were like, we wouldn't be happy doing something about, I don't know why, people our age, or didn't have anything to say about people our age, but then somehow doing something really odd was appeal. Like I said, the esoteric. No, ooh, that's exciting. I like
Yeah, and we didn't want to take ourselves too seriously.
No,
You
I
know,
mean, the
you-
film has a nice mix of, well, I don't know if it's highbrow, but it's that, and it's got the, but the play, there's scatological. It's got it's got a lot of that you go with. A little bit of what's the quote?
The stupid
Jarmusch
factor.
quote about
Jim
rock
Jarmusch.
and roll.
Yeah, he said all good rock and roll has a stupid factor, and he used the Ramones as the example.
It definitely, goes
A
back
little
to
bit of stupid.
when we were making films.
This has a lot of stupid.
In high school, we would have the ones that we just didn't care. We would throw it together in a night, and it would just be absolute nonsense of inside jokes. And then we'd have a short that we worked on for a year and was really serious and trying to be heartfelt. And all of our friends were like, fuck that. Like the stupid shit is what is working.
Yeah, I remember I showed some people in college some of those films, and it was like no reaction to the one we spent 2 years making. About like a man's evolution from birth to death, and it was all serious. And then like we had one that was scatological, and we made it in like 2 hours, and they were like quoting it to me for weeks.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what when you meet the public.
And they always say we were at the point where people were saying you got to start taking yourself, so you got to think about what you're trying to say about the world, and we just kind of didn't want to do that. We're like, no, let's just mess around and have fun, and that was sort of the through line.
Well, I think that's a good thing to follow. Yeah.
I really thought that the sound effects were really impressive. Could you tell us about the Foley work?
Yeah, the sound, the mix, everything. It's
Yeah,
it's
well then
accomplished.
we ended up doubling the budget in post. So
If
it
only
was-
we knew.
What, you went from 12 to 24?
We
No,
went to
24
24
to 40.
Oh, that's so
40,
you're raising
5.
that money to
Yeah.
Well,
do
we were
it,
raising the
finish
money.
it right.
Yeah, exactly.
We were raising it to do the other part, the tragedy, and then so we had a little bit from that, and then we pivoted, and so yeah, we did have a Foley artist come in. We had a great post sound guy, Cable, and yeah, again, it was just sort of like everything but the kitchen sink. What's funny to us right now? How many fart jokes? How many poop jokes can we pack in? And
I think that was the last creative decision of the film. Actually, was whether to add a sound of poop hitting the water or not. And then our sound guy, he pulls aside, he said, "Guys, there's already a fart joke in the scene, and maybe we drop it." And we had a little sound. We're like, "This movie is excess at every point. You have to put it in." Yeah.
It's not complete.
Yeah.
And two, it's like, Aristotle, it's the oldest comedies known, and there is a sort of wanting to honor the history of comedy. So we're sort of kind of speed running through silent film comedy, slapstick, cartoonish sound effects, packing in everything there.
Short answer, we paid for a very excellent professional mix because we always thought, okay, you could have like a crappy looking movie, but if it sounds really good, people accept that as like a creative choice. So we always were like, we're gonna shell out for
I
that.
said
to
the
pay
eye
for
can
sound.
adjust to whatever you're doing. The ear never adjusts.
Yeah.
It it's a harsh critic, no matter what. So, what else? Here you go.
What is the executive producer's role or responsibility?
Are you asking me? Well, I knew these two young guys, and
He
I
ghost
sort of-
directed the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm the ghost director. No, I don't know. What was I didn't do anything. I did nothing. I was just, I was friend of the producer.
Hung out. You hung
He
out
was
on
our
set one
friend.
day.
Well, I was an intern for Rick,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Jake and I worked for Rick at his
Yeah, you
ranch
were-
making art.
Yeah, you were my.
And we were
assistants. You put in
buddies.
some time out there.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
then Rick is being humble. He wrote us a note encouraging people to invest in the movie,
Oh,
and
I
he
forgot
got
that.
so he got us started. So that's how we were able to encourage some friends and family to invest in the film.
And some crew.
And then Rick visited the set, and that was a good morale boost.
That was fun. And like that neighborhood, that there was sort of wild. Any more? I think we're kind of winding up. Oh, and the way back.
I noticed at the beginning there's Binstock Brothers. If I wanted to make a donation, is that right?
Whoa.
Why not? Yeah, that was. Parker and I have been friends since it's middle school, and we had always been making films together, and that was just like, you know, what we called our movies growing up. And yeah, again, just honoring that inner child.
And what am I made of? Cream cheese? I missed something. What did that mean?
Well, he's trying to slip through the net, and you know, cream cheese can kind of press through a net. That was original. That was
That's in the play.
Ask Aristophanes. I don't know.
We were pulling that out. We're like, that's not original. What is that? That can't be real. And it was every translation. It's cream cheese. Cream. That isn't. Yeah.
Go with the cream cheese.
That's so funny. Okay, I think we have time for one more. You, sir?
Were there any accidents that weren't supposed to happen that you guys used in post?
Accidents,
Yeah,
the
lots of
happy,
stuff.
Happy accidents?
We used a few things between takes, like that weren't actors didn't know we were rolling or didn't know we were wasn't supposed to be part of it. Like at one point when Anticleon, the son, is ranting about fascists, it's like the chorus leader turns and looks over and makes eye contact with a cat, like he's not listening, and then turns.
But I mean, his eyes were just wandering around. He knows what he was looking at, but it was like, oh, he's looking over there. We can cut away to something.
That's funny. That's crazy. Okay, one more right here.
So this was such a fun movie. Where can, if we talk to people about it, where can they see it?
Yeah, what's the future? What's the present and future?
Well,
of
you know, we're
this?
still kind of making our plans for a little road show, so hopefully we'll be taking the movie up east and playing in some more theaters, and from there, who knows, try to find a distribution deal. We don't have one yet. That would be the next step, and
Yeah,
It's
eventually,
hard to say.
hopefully, it'll be available on streaming, but as of now, it's not.
Yeah. So, what are the avenues right now for these kind of indie things? It's as toughest time as ever to get your film seen. Can you self? You know. What can you
We
do?
haven't been able to sell it yet,
Yeah.
but I mean, we have had good luck is just self-distributing. So
Yeah.
I mean, we reached out to
Yeah,
all
you
the
gotta be
theaters
able
in
to do that.
town, and more than one got back and said, "Yeah, we'll show it." And then you're actually making, you know, a little bit of money off it, and people are seeing it. So yeah, I mean, we've just been trying to show it as much as possible to just get some momentum going, and then
Yeah.
try and parlay that into some kind of more, you know, formal deal with the company.
you just hope things snowball.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, word of mouth is important in this regard. So everybody here, we have a couple hundred people just saw it. So please spread the word and have people listen to it. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. And congratulations, guys.
Thanks,
really,
Rick.
really proud of you.
Thanks for doing it.
Really, great job. Thanks.